where we are, up to what topics we have covered here, right? So in the last session, in the last week, we have completed the SAP work process administration, work process administration, printers, gateway, background jobs. So all these things. So dialog, update, so gateway. So all these things we have covered, and also few daily monitoring transactions also we have completed. So right, so that is what we have discussed. So apart from that, the daily monitoring, so we have completed the work process administration. So that is completed. Then, so after the completion of the work process administration, so we have the client client creation, right? Client administration. The next topic is we have called the client administration. So what is mean by client administration here? Why? Because as of now, we are discussing everything in the under the either the 000 client or 001 client we are discussing, either the 000 or 001. These are the master clients. These are the master clients which are which are there in the system as part of the your SAP installations, SAP build, right? But normally, as per SAP recommendations, we should not run any our business activities, our business use cases in these two clients, but because it's the master clients. In this case, we have to create the one new client. We have to create the one new client. We have to create it. One new client we have to create it. So client number either the 0002, 999, any number we can give it. 0002, 999, any number we can give it here. So but already 000, 001 already taken by SAP. So apart from that, these two, so remaining all we can give it. Apart from these two, so remaining we can we can take care, right? Remaining two clients we can remaining any client we can create it here. That is called the business client. That is called the main client. That is called the production client. Okay. So normally we will call it as the business client, main client, production client. So that is the way we can run the business, right? We cannot run the business in these two clients. Why? Because it's provided by the SAP. These two clients are provided by the SAP. So we cannot run any business here. So in this case, what we have to do? We need to create the one new client we have to create here. New client. So we have to new client creation. New client creation, we have to do that one. So what is mean by client here? Client is the one of the business entity. Client is the one of the business entity. Client is the one of the business entity. So where we have to run the business, then we need a client, right? Client is the one of the business entity in which we can store the all the business data, all the scenarios we can execute it here. That is called the client. Okay. So abbreviation wise, if I talk about the client, means client is the one of the business entity which we can which we can run the business inside of the client. Why? Because in SAP, when you log into the SAP, any SAP, so initially you will get the client. Initially, you will get the client. In this client, we have to run the business. In this client, we have to run our business. In this client, we have to run our business here. In this clients, we have to run our business here, right? So that is the client here. See here in this client, we have to run our business here, right? So in this client, we have to run our business here. So, but how to create them? How to create the new client? So first of all, you have to log in either 000, 001, then create the client, right? How to create the client then? So using the SEC4 is the transaction code for creation of client here. Creation of client here. So, but there is a dependency for client. So normally So suppose like in your landscape, not only one system, right? You have to development, quality, and production. We have the three systems landscape. Example, one is the development, one is the development, second one is the testing, the third one is the production here. Development, quality, production here. We have the three systems here, right? So each system we have to maintain the similar configuration. Everywhere we have to maintain the similar configuration. In this case, suppose like here you are creating the 100 client, right? So here also you have to create the 100 client here. Maybe here also you have to create the 100 client here. Why? Because all the systems in the landscape we have to maintain the similar configuration, right? 100 client, 100 client, 100 client. This is the development 100 client. This is the quality 100 client. This is the production 100 client. So normally all our business users will connect to the your production system only. Business users will connect to the production system only. They will do the business. They will not connect to the your quality or development. Then who will connect to your quality, development, and quality here? Your business users. The business users will connect to the your development and quality. So they will not connect to the here. Only your development. So testing teams, they will connect it. They will do the development here. Then they will move to the configuration to the quality. Then configuration to the here production. Here the business users will use the that configuration here, right? Directly they cannot develop in the production environment. They have to go to the development. They will do the development. They will test it. Then they will move to the here. What if they will do directly in the production? If something goes wrong, the existing functionality also will be impacted. The existing functionality also will be impacted here, right? So that is the reason. So that is the reason we have to use this concept here. That is the reason we have to use this concept here. Okay. So development, quality, and production. Okay. So this is the one here. Okay. So here for client creation, so we can directly go ahead and SEC4 we can create it. But so you are creating the same client in the development, quality, and production. So both the clients similar configuration. Suppose if any data is coming, if the data is coming, suppose data will come to the ECC. So the data it is coming to the ECC, it will be in confusion. It should go to the development 100 client or quality 100 client or production 100 client. Where it should go? Maybe because both the side the client configuration is same. The clients are same here. That is the reason we have before you create the client, there is a dependency on the logical systems. There is a dependency on the logical systems creation, logical systems creations here. So logical system creations, there is a dependency on the logical system creation. In this logical system creation, so we have to create the logic, we have to define the logical systems here. So what is mean by logical system means to identify the client, within the landscape systems, you need a logical system. Why? Because so here the logical system will differentiate the, so this is the development client, this is the quality client, this is the production client. Like this logical system will differentiate the client here. So that is the reason before you create the client, logical systems you have to create it here. The naming convention of the logical systems like here, so SID, CELNT, client number. Suppose example, your SID is the RP1, then RP1, CLNT, 100 client you are creating 100 client here. Okay. So if it is the ECD, CLNT, 100 client. Is the ECP, then ECP, CLNT, 100 client. So like this, we have to assign the logical systems. Okay. So this logical system will differentiate the, client, the data flow and everything here. Okay. So that is the reason logical system means to identify the client within the landscape, you need a logical systems. Okay, you need to create a logical system, so that when you create this logical system, here the differentiation is simply happening. This is the ECD 100 client, this is the ECP 100 client, this is the RP1 100 client, so that data will come to this table and it will store it here. The data will be stored in this table here, in the format here. So if you don't have the logical systems, what will happen? So in one client, we will create the multiple one system, we will create the multiple clients. Then which client it should go? But table is only one, right? So suppose example in RP1. So this is the RP1 system, right? In RP1 system, we have the one database table. This is the table, right? So in this RP1 system, we have the three clients. So 000, 001, and 100 client, right? So 100 client we have. So the data will come based upon the client, right? So based upon the client, the data will insert into the same table. So based upon the client, data will insert into the same table here. So based upon the client, data will insert to the same table here. Why? Because table is only one. Each client, there is no separate table. Why? Because database is only one. All the data will go and store into the only one table only. But here are three clients. Here you have the Ravi, here you have the Ravi, here you have the Ravi. So three Ravis are there, and so only one table. How the data will be saved here if you don't have the logical systems here, right? You agree with me? You are clear, right? You got the concept right now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So which means same Ravi is there in the 000, same Ravi 000 will store into the same database table. 001, same database table. So 100 client, same database table. So in one jug, in one bucket, how the same name with the same name, how it will be stored? It's not possible, right? It will may get the duplicate. You may get the duplicate entries. So here Ravi user is having the password 123, here 12, here only 1. So then when he is logging to the system, which password he has to log in? Some differentiate we have to choose it, right? That is the reason for the client creations, you must and should define the logical systems. So that when you define the logical system in the first itself, so here, so RP1 CL and T 000. So this is RP1 CL and T, so 001. So the next one, RP1 CL and T 100 client. So like that, so whenever the Ravi data is storing into the here, Ravi data storing into the here, it will store like, okay, RP1 CL and T 100 client Ravi. RP1, so Ravi 000. Then Ravi, so RP1, based upon the logical system naming convention, the data will be inserted into the same table here. So it will be stored, data will be saved here. Why? Because it depends upon the logical systems. The data, same Ravi username will be stored into the three entries will be created here. 3 entries will be created in the, so in the same table, same database, 3 entries will be created, not the three separate tables. All right. So 3 entries will be, if the 3 separate tables means, if the 1000 users means 1000 separate tables. No. Sorry. Right. So it's not the 3 separate tables, right? Only these three will be created here. So depends upon the logical systems. Depends upon the logical systems. So your data will be inserted into the table. That is the reason while creating the client, you need to define the logical systems. You need to define the logical system. So sir, why we have to define the logical system is to identify the client within the system or within the landscape. You need to define the client creation. So we have to define the logical systems, right? So, sir, where we have to define the logical systems here? For the defining of the logical systems here, for defining of the logical systems here, we have to use the, so we have to use the sale or BD54 transaction codes. We have to use it here, right? Suppose example, go to the BD54. Here we have to, in the BD54, here we have to create the one new client, one logical system. You have to define it. So before you go ahead and create the logical systems here, you have to define the here. So, but I logged in as the SAP star, which is not allowed. Let me check the here. Okay, this is not wrong here. Log into our ECD system. Okay, so here BD54 is the transaction code to create the logical systems here. So here you can create the BD54. Suppose example, here I can create the 400 client here, right? I want to create the 400 client here. Click on the new entry here. So here our system SID is the ECD, then ECD CLNT 400. So this is the logical system naming convention. We have to use it here. ECD CLNT 400. Right, click on the save button. Right, click on the, it will ask the transport request, save it. Data was saved here. Why? Because 400 client I am creating. The logical system naming convention is SID CLNT. Then what is the client you are going to create? That client you have to define it here. Like this, you need to define the logical systems here. 400 client logical system we created here, right? So then in this case, go to the, so SCC4 client creation here. Just go to the SCC4. So just click on the change button here, right? Click on the new entry, click on the new entry here. So client means the 400 client you are creating. So ECD, just name, description, you can give it whatever it may be. City means it's like Hyderabad. So what is the logical system? You have to correctly give the logical system. So that's why while creating the client, the logical system field is very important here. So here you have to choose the logical system here. So 400. So 400 you have to choose it here. So here that is the reason while creating the client, so logical system is very important here. Here the logical system is very important here. So that's why I created the logical system here. The currency is INR, Indian rupee, right? Indian rupee. What is the role of the client here? Is it a development client, test client, customizing, demo, training or education, whatever it may be, you can choose it here, right? So this is the client creation page, SCC4 here. Here you can choose it here, changes. This is the settings of the client copy, client settings here. This is the client settings here, right? Changes to the client specific settings here, client specific objects here. So changes without automatic recording. So these are the settings here. Suppose when you create the client, do you want people to do the changes in this client? That is the reason client specific. Only this client specific objects do you want to change. So if they want to change it, so then you can just allow them to change it here. They want to change it, but without recording, then you can change this one. No changes are allowed. They don't want to change anything. Just you can choose this one. They don't want to do that. They want to do the changes without automatic recording. Means there is no record of the changes here. What they are doing, that records are not available here, right? So that is why how you want to go. That is your wish here. So this is the cross client object changes here. So some objects are cross client, which means so you can use the 100 client, you can access the 000 related data, you can access. So you want to change that data also, then is allowed. No, I don't want to do same changes in the other systems as well. Then you can use this changes here. So they want to do the changes, then you can use the changes here. So means you are in the 400 client, you can also do the changes of the 100 client also. Then in that case, we can use this client concept. We can use this concept as well. This is the client protection level, security mechanisms. Someone is writing the data into the 100 client. They want to no restriction. That is fine. They want to no overwriting. They want to overwriting. The client will detect like no overwriting, something like that. It will detect here. So like this, these are the client settings here. These are the client settings here. So if you want to open the client to perform the changes, yes. So why? Because in the development systems, the client should be open. Why? Because in the developers, they will do the development activity. So if the system is in the open status, then the developers can log in, they can do the changes here. So that will be helpful in the development system. Otherwise, what they will happen, few people directly they will log into the production, they will do the changes. So that time, so we should keep the no changes allowed for the production systems. No changes allowed for the production systems. We should use it here. Why? Because they cannot do any direct changes on the your production system using these settings here. Using these settings, they cannot do any changes here. So if you open this one, they can do the changes now. They can do the changes here, right? So now see here, client is created here. New client is created. 400 client is created now, right? So this is the way we need to create the client. We need to create the logical systems and we have to create the client here. So now, so client creation, logical systems is done. Client creation is done. It's very simple, client creation. Go to the SEC4, but just click on the change button. This is a change button. Then here you need to use the new entry. Then here you need to provide the which client you are going to create. Then city, then logical systems. Logical system you have to define it here. So now you want to create the 500 client. There is no 500 logical system here, right? Again, you have to go and you have to create the entry. That is the one thing we have to take care. It is the one thing we have to take care in the systems, right? Before you create creation of the client, logical system creation is very important here. Logical system creation is very important here. Okay, so that is the one very important concept here. Okay, got it? Any questions here? Client creation and the logical system creation.
Sir, this client creation, they will tell now everything. That means we need to create this. We need to use this client number only and everything.
Yeah, they will give
settings and everything.
Yeah. Why? Because they will provide you the number. But because it's not our own system, right? It's our business. Then you can decide what is your favorite number. You can decide it here. But it's not our own business, right? It's a customer business, customer client, customer system.
Yeah.
So then they will
even that changes also, that settings also they will tell. No, that means we need to use changes and everything. No.
Yes, right.
That settings, everything they will.
Yes. So based on that, we have to adjust it here. Based on that, so we have to go and SCC4, we have to adjust. They will say like development changes are allowed, development changes are allowed, production, close the client. Then in this case, go to the SCC4. So they told that, okay, production, they asked us to close the client. What is the client? Suppose like 400. So then in this case, go to the 400. So they asked us to close the client. Okay. Then in this case, 400 client, right? Okay, 400. No changes are allowed. No changes are allowed. Just save it. Then you can reply to them saying that yeah, production is closed. Production like 400 client is closed from the changes, which means direct changes are not allowed in the systems. Now it's not allowed. When you are trying to do the changes in any one of the object, it say that system settings are closed. Please request the access. Then the time they will ask you to basis team to open the system, open the client. Then you have to go to the again SCC4 pencil symbol. Then go to the here. Then okay, they ask us to open the changes, right? So okay, that's fine. Changes to the allowed. Then okay, then so your client settings are open now. This is the everyday the frequently request we will get it out here. Hi basis team, could you please open the client ECP 200 client? So our RP1 200 client, ABC 100 client, please open the client. Then in this case, we have to open the client like this. We have to open the client or we have to close the client.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Ravi sir, first we need to create logical system.
Yes.
Then after we have to create client.
Client, right?
Am I right?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
That is the
Based on the
dependency.
logical system extension number, like so 100, 101. So that number only we have to give for client. Am I right?
Right. Whatever the client you are
Okay.
going to create, suppose in the ECD, you are going to create the 700 client, then 700 you have to give it. In the SCC4 also you have to give the 700. Otherwise, if you choose wrongly, then it's some data correction will happen here. Suppose you are creating the 400 client, then you are choosing the 100 client you have chosen, which means both are storing into the 100 client. This is already being used by the other client. You will get some error messages here. Why? Because each client depends upon the logical system only, data will be inserted, right? Depends upon the logical system only, data will be inserted here. So you choose an RP1 000 00 100 client also you are using the 000 means, so both the data will be mixed here. Both the data will be mixed here. So it will be create the confusion again to the people. System also will get confused here. Which data the person is requesting here? 100 client data, 200 client data. First of all, it will not insert. So that is the reason it's thrown the error message now, right? It's already being used. So like this it is throwing the error message. So whatever the client you are creating here, same way your logical system should be also exist.
So the client number refers to any particular business user?
Not user. Yeah, client number is like in this client we will store all the business data and everything here.
Means this is not regarding to business user login and all.
Business users will log into the same client only. Why? Because why
This
we are
is not the business user ID.
This is not the ID of the business user. We are creating the new client for business users to log in here. Business users to log in, we are creating the new ID here. So that is the reason we have created the client now. We have created the client now. After the client creation is done, now we have to log into the 400 client, new client. Then from there we have to perform all the business users creations and everything. We have to perform it here. One dedicated client we are creating for our business, storing the business data here. So the dedicated client is called the 400 client in our case.
Inside 400, we will create business users IDs.
Yes, right. Why? Because business users, they need only access to the business client only, or production client only. So that's the reason once the client is created, we have to log into the newly created client. So then after that, we have to create the users, data, everything we have to create it.
So for every new business project, we'll create a specific client, right?
Right.
Okay.
Suppose they don't want to new client, they want to insert into the existing client only, means we have to use, you don't need to create the new client again. Just you can in the existing system only, you can use the existing functionalities.
If it's a new business project to the company, then it is
client,
recommended.
yeah, client creation is mandatory for everywhere. So for the
Okay.
one business also, one business use
Mhm.
case also, one new client we have to create it here. No, I don't want to touch 400. This is my second business. Just I want to
Mhm.
test it. I don't want to touch the 400 client. Then you can create the new client. You can put new client for that business. Then you can do the changes and everything here. That will not impact on the 400 client. If everything, if you do in the 400 client, if something goes wrong, so entire already existing code also will be crashed.
Mm.
Existing data also will be gone. So right. So that's the reason they would, the people, the client customer, they won't take risk. Right. So that is
Okay.
again, so again it will create the nuisance and again everything they lost. But because in the 100 client, suppose example, in the 100 client, 10 people, 10 developers, they have built the lot of above programs they have deployed it here. But in the 200 client, new client also they want to new project they want to merge it to the 100 client, the same 100 client they want to create it, but existing functionalities will be impacted. To avoid that type of confusion for new business, new client, you can create the new client, you can create it here. That will not create any problem.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Any other questions from anyone? Is it
No,
clear?
sir. Yes, sir, it is clear.
Okay. So after that,
Business purpose.
yes.
So for a business purpose, we will create our own client. So to insert the data into specific systems like development systems, quality systems, and production systems, we used to create logical systems. Am I right, sir?
Right. So logical system is
Thank you.
must and should for the client. Logical system is must and should, we have to create it.
Got it, sir.
Sir, is it possible if a company is holding two clients, can we create only one logical system? Is it possible?
If you create the one logical system, two creates, but
Uh-huh.
suppose two clients, one logical system, right? But that time,
Yeah, for the one business project for the same company.
yes, we can create that one. Why? Because production is only one, so we can
Yeah.
create that one. It's possible. We can create it. Why? Because production we have only one client, not the multiple clients here. Suppose example, your landscape is like development, quality, and production system. Here we have only one client. Production you have only one client. Why? Because all the projects will go to the production is only one. But during the development and testing phase, you can create the multiple clients and you can test it individually. You can test it here. So here initially during your business operation during the deployment, 100 client you created. Here also you created the 100 client. Here also you created the similar configuration. You have to maintain that 100 client you created. So that is fine. So later, a few months after, your new project coming to the picture, so you can ask them to, we can suggest them to use the same client for their development activities also. They told that no, we want to create the separate. I don't want to touch the existing client data. So I want to create the new client. In this case, you can take the new client. Then he want to create the 200 client. So they don't want to touch the 100 client development activity, testing activities. Here also testing also you have the 200 client. So that finally the 100 to 100, then 100 to here, the data will go here. Here also, so 200 to 200 separate testing client, then 200 to again 100 client only it will go. But because all will go to the same location only production. But here using the different numbers to test it here. But functionalities perspective, the business users will connect to the only one. Production we have only one client. Development quality sandboxes, we can maintain the multiple clients, multiple ways of testing, we can use it. But when it comes to the production, you have only one client. All the data will be inserted in the same client will be inserted here. So that business users can use the functionalities here. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So which means for production only one client, your non-production systems. So we have the one technical names here, production, non-production here. So what is mean by production? And production, right? This is the non-prod. This is the non-production systems here. So production, we have only one client. So, but non-production, we can create the multiple clients. It's not very much important non-production system. Production is the very important. Why? Because all the business will run on in this production client only. So that one dedicated system you are keeping like production. How you are saying, sir? How your system knows means whatever the role you are setting in the SCC4, whatever the role you are setting here, production or test, based upon that. So that system as the production system. Suppose you set this as the production and all the sandbox users are using means, so it's not the production one. So the role is different here. So that is the reason. So while creating the client, which client are you going to create? So testing user, demo user, so training user, what is this exactly? Like this, you need to choose the respective role, respective client role we have to choose. Depends upon the client role only, the data will be fetched. Okay. So any other questions?
So can
Sir,
we
I
change the
have
client role?
Yeah, we can change the client role. Depends upon the situation. As and when required, you can go ahead, change a button. Done. We can do the changes. Simple. We can change it. Any case, we can go ahead and we can change it. We can do the changes here.
Sir, one more question. In ECD 400, can you open that one, sir? The client ECD 400. Yeah, you have told that if a company is using 2 clients in the production, we can send it to only 100 clients. Yeah, but my question is changes and transport for client specific is automatic recording changes is allowed here. But when in 200 client, the setting is like changes without automatic recording. Then what will happen in the production system of client 100 when these are different, right? Here we, yeah.
Yeah, but here you are doing that. There you are in the production. It always closed. The changes in the production is
Okay.
always closed. But only development system you are enabled. Why? Because to perform the changes. Suppose your manager asked you. So in the Amazon website, there is no voice recording option, voice search option. Your manager asked you to develop here. Then you cannot directly go ahead and develop here, right? Here in the 200 client, you will develop that you will develop it here. That time when you are developing in the 200 client, that time the client settings should be you are developing means you are customizing. You are doing some changes in the existing code, which means here the settings should be open here. Here settings should be open when you are developing the object. The client settings should be open. Open means it should be modifiable status, which means either the automatic recording of changes or this one you have to do the changes here. So if it is closed, you cannot do the changes here. So in the non-production system, it should be open. Production, it should be closed. Even though it's closed, why? Because you are not directly doing the changes here. You are doing the changes in the development. Then so changes you are recording the changes into the one transport request. That request you are moving to the quality. Then they will test it. Quality users they will test it. Then they will send the data to your production.
Okay.
So production,
before sending it to production, we'll close the client, right?
yeah, production
In
always
production.
it's closed only. Production always closed only.
Okay. Okay.
Only non-production it should be opened. Production, if you the settings are open in production, the people directly they will go and they will do their changes, right?
Yeah.
Suppose example, this is a banking system, bank sector system. So as a person, I know what is my accounts and everything. It will be stored into the database table level. I am the best developer person. So, but system also connection is opened. Directly, I can go to the table. I will do some noise. I will do some changes in my home loan or something. I will do the changes. So the changes directly reflected into the production. So right, it is a violation. This is a violation. If the connections are opened, the people will directly do the same changes in the production. So that is the reason we cannot connections always. System settings always should be the closed status here. Then only
Okay, sir.
people will not direct changes in anything here. As a process wise, first they have to do it in the 100 development, then testing, then directly to here.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So I think we have only 5 minutes left. Okay. So what you can do today, just you can try to create the client and also try to create the logical systems. So let's see how many members can do the configurations here. Okay. So that is the your assessment for today. Create the logical system, and create the client. So you can use the ECD, our development system. Okay, ECD and ECP both are available, right? Your logon but both are available. Just to configure this one, login with the user